So after the rain is finally here, and it is certainly one of the more heartbreaking episodes of Amphibia. Just to recap, Anne finally discovers that Hop Hop has been lying to her about the Calamity Box. Now, this happens incidentally. It's not like Anne is some super detective in this episode. She's so excited about her forthcoming adventure to the first temple that she can't sleep, so she gets up at night and wanders around, and she sees Hop Hop. And she becomes distraught because she learns that Hop Hop, who had hidden the Calamity Box in a hole, is completely despondent because the box is mysteriously gone. Now, Amphibia fans, don't worry. Anne and Hop Hop managed to rescue the box from the calamity of the day by the end of the episode. What is more important to the heart of this episode is why Anne feels so betrayed that Hop Hop lied to her about the box in the first place. For the vast majority of the episode, she just flatly refuses to interact with him because she feels so betrayed. She doesn't even want to stay with the planters anymore. Instead, she returns to the cave where she spent her first bits of time in Amphibia before she was finally taken in by the planters. Now, we have to ask ourselves why Anne is so mad about this in the first place. Why is she so irate about Hop Hop lying to her? Unlike what some fans were anticipating, Hop Hop doesn't destroy the box. He doesn't try and keep it from her when she wants it for her adventure to the first temple. Quite the opposite, he's more than willing to give it to her. He's a bit reluctant about it, but he's not going to stop her from having the box. And the box has gone missing not through any intentions of Hop Hop, but rather through the forces of nature. Now, this is a problem, but it's not this world-ending, paradigm-shifting problem. Yet, Anne treats it as such an intense problem anyway, which is interesting. Now, obviously no one likes being lied to, but Anne's reaction seemed to me a little extreme at first. Nevertheless, it's important to understand that she placed her complete trust in her adopted family, in the planters. When she had nothing and she was just this desperate, strange human, they took her in, and she is really grateful to them for that. At the end of Season 1, in the episode Reunion, Anne has to choose between Sasha, one of her best friends from back on Earth, and the planters. And she chooses the planters. Sasha wanted to be allies with her. Sasha still really cares about her, and yet Anne chose to fight Sasha, endangering both their lives in the process. That's how much she cares about the planters. Now, it is true that Hop Hop has never been entirely reliable. He is basically the Grunkle Stan of this show. And we know he's conducting a lot of esoteric and strange investigations of the Calamity Box. Investigations that have not yet borne fruit, as far as we know. Even beyond his interactions with the Calamity Box, Hop Hop is a frog of questionable moral character. Just in last week's episodes, he forgot to deliver presents to the citizens of Wartwood, and instead, he composed this elaborate scheme to just fake all the presents and then have them be destroyed. But he hasn't betrayed Anne. Not really. He's been there for her. The planters are the first people, aside from maybe Anne's mother, who have been there for her, no matter what, no matter the circumstances. So their betrayal hits Anne particularly hard. But the other side of the question is why Hop Hop decided to lie to Anne in the first place. Now, there are other reasons, aside from those mentioned in the episode, and we'll have to see whether these other reasons come into play later. He does seem, like Grunkle Stan, to have a lot of strange things going on in his life, but for now, we'll just deal with the reasons he explicitly gives in the text. He's guilty about the deaths of Sprig and Polly's parents. There was an attack, and he wanted to be there for them, but he wasn't, so they died. And because of his guilt, he wants to be there for Sprig and Polly. He wants to protect them, and that means stopping them from going on strange adventures. And we know there's a lot of strangeness associated with the Calamity Box. Again, he recognizes that he was wrong to try and keep the Calamity Box from his family. And when Anne explicitly asks for the box, he does not hesitate to give it to her. Of course, he can't give her the box at first because it's missing, but when Anne finally does find the box, he doesn't complain. He doesn't try to take it away from her. And it is quite easy to understand Hop Pop's guilt and trauma. Though he can act quite irresponsibly towards the kids in his charge, he does everything in his power to keep them safe. Again, there is a parallel here to Grunkle Stan in Gravity Falls. Stan is not in any way a responsible parent or guardian. He lets Dipper and Mabel go on all sorts of strange and dangerous adventures that a more responsible parent or guardian would stop them from going on. But he genuinely does care about Dipper and Mabel, and he wants to ensure their safety, and he wants to keep them out of all the really strange and eerie forces at play, and Hop Pop seems relatively similar. The real question we have to ask ourselves is how much does Hop Pop indeed know about the box? He seems to know more than he lets on. Just like Grunkle Stan. All he admits he knows about the box in this episode is how dangerous it could be. And you could discern that just by looking at the name. It is called the Calamity Box, after all. But we should ask ourselves how much he really does know. How much he knows but isn't letting on. And we should ask ourselves how much we'll find out about what he knows as the series progresses. When Anne discovers that Hop Pop lied, but for good reasons, to protect Sprig and Polly, she relents, her anger evaporates, and relations between her and the rest of the family kind of get back to normal. She becomes a part of her froggy family once again. Now, there is part of me that wishes there was more to this episode, or that it didn't wrap up so quickly and neatly, but the more I think about this episode, the more I think it's worth asking ourselves if it really does wrap up that neatly after all. I have a very strong feeling that we are not going to stop asking questions about Anne and Hop Pop and the hidden qualities of the Calamity Box. They have it back by the end of the episode, but if the box really is as dangerous as Hop Pop suggests, that might not be necessarily a good thing. There are so many secrets about this box. Why does King Andreas of Newtopia seem to want it so much? If the box does have the power to transport Anne, Sasha, and Marcy to Amphibia, it's possible that it could do more than just transport them back. After the Rain reveals a lot of good information about Hop Pop and why he's so committed to keeping his family safe and why he's struck with so much guilt. There were perhaps a few more jokes than I would have had in such a serious and somber episode, but the episode still works, I think. It's still quite powerful. But the real question we need to ask ourselves is, does it in fact raise more questions than it answers? Are Hop Pop's only reasons for keeping the Calamity Box away that he wanted to protect Sprig and Polly after the deaths of their parents? Or does he have other plans that we're not quite aware of? I guess we'll see as the show progresses. So anyway, thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. keep watching Amphibia. It's a really clever, thoughtful show, and I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. What questions is it going to answer? What questions is it going to raise? There's a lot going on here that we don't quite know about. After the Rain was a good episode, but where will the show go from here? I feel like it's only going to get more interesting and mysterious as we go along. So anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. I swear that it will be coming soon. You can be sure of that. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.